G'day, this is Captainoob and this is a flamer. I bet you've never seen one of these before. So yeah, it's a highly customizable. I'm not going to go on with that nonsense. You all know what a flamer is. You've probably already used it and have been disappointed by it in the past because in Fallout 4 Vanilla, it's a shit weapon. Now, Junkmaster come along and Kung Fu Master, or Nerf Master I guess as someone called him, actually has improved this thing a little bit. So you get a little bit more energy damage and plus 10 fire damage, which is a damage that is probably a leave over from Skyrim, just the actual fire damage. Everything that is like that is pulled into energy now these days in Fallout 4. But yeah, that's an unused little energy thing, and I don't believe anyone resists it at all. That's sort of a thing that needs a special type of resistance to resist, so yeah, nothing should be getting by that. Now for the barrels, the injectors there, we can put a napalm injector for better damage, longer barrel for better reach, and a huge propellant tank for better ammo consumption. And this is where it gets a little bit more interesting. So we've got the standard nozzle right now. You can have the compression nozzle, which increases the range. You can make this bad boy an arc welder, which is burns fuel to power an electrical current. So I guess that makes sense of that. If you've played Lonesome Road, then you probably are familiar with this weapon, but that too, like the flamer in Fallout 4, was pretty terrible. And you've got the Incinerator Barrel right here, which uses the same sort of barrel 3D object from the vanilla game. That's just like the... I'm not sure what... I can't even remember what that barrel is called because I've played that little with the flamer. But yeah, that's the main damage one. You do compromise a lot on range with this, but in this one it actually increases the range and it fires arcing balls of flame that cover a wider range. So yeah, that sounds pretty good. So it's going to act like the incinerators from Fallout 3 in New Vegas, which sounds pretty dandy. So we'll chuck that on and we'll get into Gunner's Plaza. Okay, so here we are in Gunner's Plaza as usual, and while this thing may look like a flamer on the outside, trust me, it's different. Now, we've got a new hairstyle running for Bridget here. This is one of the Azar Hairstlyes, ponytail number something. I can't remember, but yeah, someone requested to see a Azar hairstyle on Bridget, and there it is. So, getting stuck into these gunners here, we're firing lots of fire bombs at them, I guess, like fiery projectiles. Now, I've got all the whoops, we've almost cooked ourselves there. Yeah, I've got the particles set onto very low, so unfortunately we can't see the thing going through the air, but we can definitely see the impact. Now, I can recognize that sound from Fallout 3 and New Vegas. That's the exact sound. Oi, where are you going, mate? Alright, never mind. That was a sneaky gunner right there. Yes, I can recognize this weapon sound from Fallout 3 and New Vegas. That's the same sound as the incinerator impacts there. So yeah, they not only rip the meshes and textures, but they rip the sound, which is fine in my book, sure, whatever. That's owned by Bethesda, and I guess you can port that to other games. I don't know. Oh, you've got a heavy weapon over there. Okay, so at range, it's a little bit less powerful because the inherent spread of the projectiles seem a little bit over the place. So we'll go ahead and crit the fake Captain Bridget there. Now, if Kung Fu Master has done this right, coming out of VATS, this thing won't glitch all that much. Also, that is a constant stagger there, so even though this thing isn't like hitting for the most powerful of damages, that constant stagger is going to render your enemies very, very vulnerable to your attacks. Look at this legendary gunner. Look how tanky she is. Look how tanky she is. Look how staggered she is. Okay, we are absolutely blitzing through Gunner's Plaza. This is a kind of power that I'd expect from just a regular flamer. It got walloped. It just absolutely got destroyed. Also, that's a cool chainsaw. Yeah, it just got destroyed in Fallout 4, as well as many of the other... Oh, I just kicked that laser gun across the room. Yeah, it got destroyed in Fallout 4, as well as all of the other heavy weapons, especially the minigun, man. Like the Gatling laser, that was a powerful, powerful weapon back in Fallout 3 in New Vegas. You can open up on death claws, you can kill them in seconds with it, but in this game, no, you'll be shooting for a while, mate. But yeah, this thing really seeks to get the power that I'd like to see out of, you know, heavy weapons in Fallout 4. This is what kind of power they needed, and it's really good that they've sort of brought things back from an earlier game and made it fresh with the new textures there, although I'm guessing something they would have tried is maybe porting it over, but probably didn't work as well with the current animation set into Fallout 4. Anyways, I think this thing works fine with just a regular flamer thing, and by the way, this thing looks super different to what it does in the older Fallouts there, and also missed someone, so yeah, I'm going to rectify that for a second. Wow, these gunners really don't feel like fighting today, do they? But yeah, this thing with its flamery Fallout 4 thing, which it's not a bad looking weapon, it's sort of more industrial feeling than an actual weapon. You don't get that massive backpack on your back either, so that kind of takes out of the experience. But obviously that's house under the weapon there, so I guess it's a little bit more dangerous using this weapon because you can just get shot on those tanks there, and then you'll go up in flames with it. So probably something you'd ought to use in power armor, all things considered, which I guess many heavy weapons are supposed to be. But enough of me rambling. You probably want to see me shooting more people rather than talking about shooting more people, and we'll do precisely that. Okay, welcome back to Tales of an Idiot featuring me. So again, it's caused me a little bit of confusion to actually get this weapon because I thought it'd be a standalone weapon in and of itself rather than a modification on the flamer. So I, you know, as I usually do, I search for the weapon in the, oh, he is burning there. We'll quickly move on down here. I've searched up just incendiary or incinerator in the console commands to come up with nothing. And then I thought, okay, this is kind of weird. Maybe it's like under flamer, but then I played around with its modifications and didn't go into the muzzles on it, so I didn't actually realize that was there yet. So back into the console commands, and I thought, okay, maybe I was spelling incinerator wrong, so I just typed in incin, and nothing came up. I was like, okay, maybe this thing doesn't exist in this mod anymore, so I'll just do the flamer. That's bound to have improvements, right? And then when just looking at the flamer's little attachments in more detail, also I almost friggin' killed myself there. Good job, me. Yeah, I found that to actually get the incinerator to how it was, or sort of an approximation of how it was in previous Fallout games, you'd actually have to modify this thing. Oh, we get a lot of health back there. I think Curie's health bonus came in for a second there, that's why we got a bit back, which is nice to sustain me, which is good. So we're cutting through. Wow, really? Those guys are having a chat whilst we're doing that? Interesting. Yeah, but, yeah, I eventually figured out that, hey, the incinerator is with the, oh, there's the flame sounds. Yeah, the incinerator is actually with the flamer thing, so yeah. So instead of sort of reviewing the flamer as it is, I'd actually be able to shake it up a little bit, but also let you know that, hey, the flamer is kind of good with this. Also, bugger off, doggo. This is no place for a mutant hound. Also, I like how he can walk through these flames just fine. I'm guessing they're all just impact effects rather than actual fire effects left from like something like the Molotov or something, which is useful. Or maybe Bridget is just super fire resistant because I guess being a gunner makes you fire resistant. It certainly makes you bullet resistant, that's for sure. Okay, we'll go over for another crit on this super mutant's face. If it's a heavy weapon firing automatic, we should get at least 10 or so shots out of the crit there. I wasn't really counting, but didn't seem to get that much. So the burning damage on this is rather minimal, like it usually is with the flamer anyway. They haven't increased that all that much. Also, I think I just set off a bunch of grenade bouquets, but that's fine. So we are getting through these super mutants easily, but slowly. Again, the fact that we can stagger these guys is making this rather effortless there. I've barely lost even a health point to these guys. Rather, I've lost a health point, the hit points to incompetency and pointing this gun as a too low thing. So there's a little bit of arcing on these weapons projectiles that I'm having a little bit of trouble getting used to simply because I can't see them. But we seem to be getting a little bit more used to it now. His legs are crippled. We don't need to fear him now. We'll just walk up to him. And you know what? Why don't we finish this off with a little bit of pest extermination. And with the nice amount of splash damage that you get with these projectiles. Where are the doggos? They're not here? I don't know. Probably they're not here. But yeah, with the projectiles, we get a pretty decent amount of splash damage on them too, which allows us to be a little bit inaccurate. So it's not entirely punishing if you can't see the projectiles there, which means it's a little bit more of a noob-friendly weapon. That means it's friendly to me. Okay, so about enough of that. We'll go ahead and do something else. Okay, time to fight some crabbies. Here we are at Cutler Bend, and to get the crabbies up and started, there's a Blood Rage one there. That's a nice little addition of the Junkmaster mod. It actually adds the Blood Rage Mirelurks from the Far Harbor DLC into the Commonwealth, which seems pretty decent. Also, we'll quickly dispatch of these eggs before they hatch into little baby Mirelurks. Finally got that last one. and we'll move on. Fortunately, these guys buried in the ground are immensely unaware of their surroundings, and we can pretty much take them on one at a time very easily there. You won't find anything too powerful here. If you come out here at around, I don't know, level 50, you might find a couple of glowing Mirelurks around, but nothing too unmanageable. Usually Mirelurks are pretty tame. You won't find any level scaling little hunters here, the lobster dudes here, so that's good. Now as you come up to this bit, there should be a Mirelurk king spawning somewhere, unless I haven't aggroed them enough, but whatever, we'll quickly go over this Cutler Bend here. I guess it's a significant part of some of the rivers in Boston. There he is. He's a deep king, which means he can cloak, which is actually pretty neat, but he doesn't really cloak for all that long, so it's not kind of like fighting a stealth boy target, which would make them a little bit more interesting, if not irritating to fight. And there's the other Mirelurk king. You would have seen him actually jump up on that boat if I had triggered him when I was standing over there. So I think we've got Idiot Savant proc at this point because we're getting 203 XP per kill. Ah, there's a third Mirelurk king, so yep, lots of dead froggy dudes today apparently. And yeah, whilst these guys aren't tanky or tough as super mutants or you know, little super mutants or gunners, I'm pretty sure I just listed one of those twice. Yeah, this thing does pretty well against these Mirelurks here, and you know, the Blood Rage Mirelurks, if you hit their carapace with like regular ballistic weapons, they're gonna shrug it off pretty well. They've got hard shells, those bastards, but yeah, there's not a whole lot here. There's one master locked chest in that boat there, but usually contains generic loot. And just up here you've got some stingwings, and this is one of the only places where I've actually managed to find stingwings, you know, before I really actually knew the game, so I thought they were sort of unique to this area until I actually sort of explored. I think there's also one sitting in the toilets in here. Yes, he is. That's a data. He's not even a level scaling one, so the game's been pretty generous not to throw much of scary bad guys at us. Also, there's this one lone raider here. She'll always be alone or healed depending on whichever the gender the level lists things on. And there's just a statue here. I'm not sure what that thing is, but it looks like this raider was in the process of repairing it. I'm not sure. It's also got a chem box in its hand which you can access, and it's got bottle caps in it. I'm not sure whether that's an actual drop of that or if that's something to do with the Fortune Finder perk, but there you go. That was the Incendiary Flamer, Incinerator Flamer. Yep, Junkmaster, you've done a good job here again, or I should say Kung Fu Master. Good job on reviving a weapon and keeping it nice and fresh with the Fallout 4 things. So yep, link in the description if you feel like getting this mod, and I'll also chuck a link to this particular character. And also, she looks so different with this hair. I almost, you know, you don't really recognize it, do you? It's amazing how much a simple change to the hair can, you know, like change the whole figure of a person. But yeah, that's kind of weird. Enough of that. Thank you for watching.